Cardboard Commander. Today we're going to have a little playthrough of Stalingrad Advance to the Volga, 1942. It's a solitaire area movement game and designed by Mike Ronella and published by Take Aim Designs and Revolution Games. This is a brutal solo game, folks. It's really hard to win. A lot of dice being thrown, but we're going to play it on Vassal today just to kind of walk through it. I haven't had it on the board a little while, so we're not going to really do a rules thing. We'll just, while we're playing, we'll kind of go over everything and just go over that sort of thing. So I'm going to drag this over here and we are going to get ready for the game. So I'm going to scroll down here, talk about, we'll get ready for prepare for play. So I've got this set up for the width of the game. So if you scroll down here on the map, all of the used support units will go in this box when they're done. The support units are artillery support. There's some engineer support. We are not using any optional rules in this. So engineers, we'll explain that later. And then air support. You come down here, turn markers on turn one. And that is all ready to go. We've got the morale marker is on 19. So that will come into play and we'll talk about that while we're going through all the combat and everything. Supply is all put over here. There's a bunch of counters over here, which you'll see. I'll just move those around just so you can kind of get an idea. The purchase uh, points are right there. German control. Right now it says we have 9 areas controlled. That's what we start off with. To win, you need a whole bunch more than that. Here's the out of action box and then the available support units. So the first thing we're going to do is everything's placed in where it's supposed to be placed. So now we're going to go to Soviet unit setup. So there's 4 types of terrain in this game. And what that entails is we're just going to go here to the chart window. And that entails there's a defense strategy in each area. So what happens is when you see, so basically we're going to deploy Soviet units. And they should be coming out on the map here. There we go. So if you notice, each map, each piece, there's a little area here that tells you what it is. Elevated. We won't know what the defense is or what the strategy defense is until we get into each unit. And when we do that, that's when we'll go ahead and go over everything and kind of get everything together for that. The German setup, we're all set up. They're already out on the board. So we have units up here, and 50, 49, and then there's units on the side. And again, we're going to talk about all this more when we get playing, but I think it's easier to learn for folks if we just start playing and jumping into it. Um, so German setup, so we're already set up for that. So then we come back to the rules and we slide down through the rules and we go to, so now we go to the, we're ready to set up and we're ready to play. So we'll go to the, sorry, I'm just, first time I've been really videoing this. I've really been watching Jester and a couple of the guys, and it gives you a renowned sense of how hard this really is. But we're going to go, I did upload some different charts, so I have a bunch of things in here. So the first thing we're going to do is the sequence of play calls for the dawn phase. So the dawn phase, and we go over here to 6.1. And what the dawn phase tells us is, so the dawn phase reinforcements are placed. There are no reinforcements. However, the Germans do get reinforcements in turn 2, 7, and 12. And then there's a withdrawal phase. So there's one mandatory withdrawal at the end of turn 9, which is highlighted there. And we'll go about that when we get there. So random event phase. So now we go, we roll on the random event chart. So I'm going to bring that up over here for you. So there's a chart right here. And this chart down here tells you the random events. So there are some first turn things that you don't do, and we'll talk about that as well. So we roll on the random events. You roll 3d6. So we're going to go ahead and roll 3d6 on here, and we roll. Wow, we rolled a whopping 4. So it says that's the 64th Army offense. Air support markers may not be placed on the map to modify combat this turn. So that one hurts, right? So that's not a good sign for us. So it does say if we go to turn one special rules, treat the following as a no result on turn one. 64 Army breakthrough, which is the one that which would have been down there, and then 66 Army breakthrough or logistical pause. So none of them happened. So there is no air support markers to be placed on the map to modify for this turn. So the next thing we go through on that is so we've come up with that wasn't a good random event. And then we go to the supply phase. At the beginning of each supply phase, we roll 4 die. We roll 4d6, and that's the German supply. On the first turn, however, the supply cannot be lower than 16. So we know we're going to get a mandatory of 16. So we're going to come down here, and we're going to get 10 up here. So mandatory, we're going to get 16. So we're going to roll 4d6. We actually get 18, so that's better. So we'll take that. And then now we supply the cost chart. We look at the cost chart, which is right up here. And that's the things that we can buy. Now, each turn, you get an aircraft, but since this turn we can't use it, we're just going to go ahead and drag one of these down here and just say, uh, we're just going to flip it so he can't use it. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. We're going to flip. It's in the out action box. The rest of these we're going to drag down here. Let's come down here. And these are all the available units. I'm going to put these for right here, over here for now. So now we look at our price chart and we have 18 points to spend. So we're going to go ahead and buy 8 artillery. So that's going to take us down to 10, right? So we're down to 10. Then we're going to purchase. So engineers are used in in the basic game are used just like artillery, but they don't give you as good a support. But since we can't use aircraft, we're going to go ahead and buy all 4 of those as well. So that's going to drop us down to 6 points. So we're going to stop at 6 points. Again, you're going to see where the aircraft coming in hurts us a little bit. After that, then we go back to our sequence of play. And the next sequence of play is the combat phase. So we're going to start talking about combat and how we move into all that. So mechanics for movement. During an action round, the German player selects a single area for activation. This is called the active area. An area must contain at least one fresh German unit in order to activate. Units move one at a time. A unit may move from an area to an adjacent area with the number of areas entered during the movement phase being limited by their movement value. So their movement value is the second number on the counter. The first number is, of course, their attack, and we'll go through that. So we're going to start off. Let's start off up here. It's always pretty rough up here. So we're going to activate this area for movement, area 50. And it costs 1 area to enter a vacant, or 1 movement point to enter a vacant area, 2 movement points to enter a vacant area adjacent to an enemy unit. It costs 3 to enter an area containing a revealed Soviet Union, and it costs 4 to enter an area with unrevealed. All movement factors attack with the contested in the contested area. So we're going to move these guys. We're gonna jump into here. Okay. So now, after we've done that, then now we're going to flip over. So some people like to flip over after they announce combat and what they're bringing in there and everything. I don't think that's really fair. So I just go and I get everything together and then I flip it over and we decide what's going to be in there. So if I'm going to use any support, I'm going to use it before. So if I bring in any of these markers, I want to do that before we do that. I am going to show you what that looks like. So I'm going to bring up an artillery support marker and we're going to put that over here as well. So we're going to use one artillery support marker and we're going to use both of these units. So now we're going to, so if you move in like that, it costs us 4 movement points, but it also means we have a mandatory attack. So we have to do the attack that way. So now we're going to flip over. We're going to reveal the defense and he is a fanatic. And folks, fanatics are probably some of the hardest units to get rid of. And I'll explain why. So we'll bring up the chart and we'll go to the fanatic part. So it's right here. So a fanatic, if the combat result is a success, it is changed to a stalemate. Ignore if the combat result was a repulse, stalemate, or overrun. So the only way to overrun somebody is to beat them by the number, by bigger than the number that's on their chit. So if you look at that on this unit, it's a 9. So we would really have to steamroll them to get through there, and I really don't think that is going to be the case. So we're probably in trouble here. To overrun, if the attack is a success and the difference between the attack factor and the defensive total is greater than the defensive strength of the unit, then an overrun has been achieved. It's going to be very hard to do that. So now we're going to go to combat resolution. And the German player designates the lead attack unit. So we're going to start off with this unit here. So he's at 6, right? And then you get to add, you get to add 1 for, so that's 7. I think that's the way you do it, right? So combat, again, the German player designates lead attacking unit. Okay, let's just go in order. The German player places support. So you know what? I have, so I could bring in support after we get revealed. So the way it works is mandatory attacks, you get a contested area, reveal Soviet units, and then we go to combat resolution. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and we've got 2 units. You're allowed to have support up to the number of units in the hex. So we're going to bring in another artillery and I'll show you how that works out. So now we're going to take the attack value. So we're going to take German player designates a lead unit. That's that number right there with 6. German player places artillery into the area. So you get +2 for the attack factor for each artillery marker and engineer marker. So that's going to help us. And then divisional integrity, if you have at least 3 units of the same, but we'll go through that too. So what we're looking at now is we've got 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we have 11 attack factor. So I'm going to put 11 up in the box. They have 9 plus 2, so they're an 11. We also get 1, so we get 6. So you get 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 1 more for the morale being over 10. So we're at 12, they're at 11. So then the defense value is it's the factor of the unit. So it's the TEM of the unit. And then if the German morale is 9 or less, which we aren't, you would get they would get +1. and then they subtract all the other number of supporting markers. Okay, so now we compute results. So the Germans roll, and you roll 2 dice for combat. And so the Germans roll an 8. So 12 plus 8 is 20. And the Russians are at 11 and they roll a 6. So they're at 17. So the good news is if that was all there was to it, we would win. However, we come back here to Fanatic. If the combat result is a success, it is changed to a stalemate. Ignore, and we didn't overrun. So with a stalemate, if the attack value and the defensive totals are the same, there's no effect. All attacking units are flipped to their spent side. Okay, so were spent. These go back to the out of action box because they've been used. And that is where we end, and we will be doing a bloody streets in there. Now, there are no bloody streets markers, which is kind of weird. You would think that they would have a bloody streets marker in here. So at this time, all I'm going to do is I'm going to use a isolated marker, and I'm going to put that here just so it reminds us to do bloody streets the next time that we do combat. So that area is complete. So now we're going to activate this area here, and he's just going to run into the clear area. So again, cost 4 movement factors. They get revealed. He is a hero. So we'll go back up here with the chart window. So heroes reduce German morale by 1 after combat resolution. Applies even if the Soviet unit was eliminated. Ignore if the combat result was a repulse or an overrun. So we know that right now their defense is a total of 5. We'd have to beat them by more than 4. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add 2 more, or we can only add 1 because there's only 1 unit in there. So I'm going to add 1 artillery support. So now we're going, my lead unit's going to be the 6. So then we're adding 2 more for artillery support for 8, 1 more for 9 because of the morale. So the Germans start off with 9, and the Russians start off with, they've got the 4 plus the 1, so they have 5. So it's 9 to 5. So I'm going to roll 4 dice. First 2 are going to be German, second 2 are going to be Russian. So the Germans actually roll a 9 plus a 6 for 15. And the Russians roll a 5. So they're at 9. So they're a 14. No, that can't be right. I'm adding stuff up wrong. So Germans are a 9, 6, 7, 8, 9. We add 6 for 15. Yeah, that's right. So then the Russians are 5. They're adding 5 more. So the Russians are 10. So that's good news for the Germans. So if you beat, so we had to win by more than 4, which we did. So we overrun so that we don't lose morale because of the overrun. They get returned to the deck, and now we control that area. And when we put an area control marker down, you'll notice that down here on the board, it will tell us that we've got 10 things in 10 areas in control. So that's good. So now we come back over here. We're going to run, this is light urban. So any of the squares are light urban. These are heavy urban over here, the little fort type things. And then you have clear, which is like there, and elevated, which are hills right there. So we go ahead and flip over reveal our person here. Ambush 9, another 9. So ambush means eliminate the lead attacking unit after combat resolution. Ignore if the combat was, so unfortunately with a 9, it looks like somebody is going to not be very happy at the end of this. So right now I'm looking at 5, 6. So we're going to take 2 more Since we have 2 units, we can do support with 2 more support units. So we're going to come back up here with that. So now we're at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Morale makes it 11. Okay. And the Russians are 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're starting off under the gun already. So again, we'll do the same thing with the 4 dice. Germans are first. So the Germans rolled a 7 plus 11 is a German result of 18. The Russians rolled 5 with their 12 is a 17. So the good news is that we won, right? Bad news is this unit, since they led, they are eliminated. So they go to the out of auction box. These people go to spent, and I needed to do that here. And then these support markers go to the out of action box. And the defense returns the deck, and we draw another marker. And now we control that space as well. So we've gained a couple spaces. Now we're going to slide down here. Now I'm going to come down all the way to the bottom of the board, and there's a reason for that, right? So here, we're going to move everybody into here, cost 4. Okay. And then we reveal the defense. And it is a barrage. And a barrage is the German player must either place one of his attacking units in the out of action box prior to combat, German player's choice, or flip all attacking units to spent and retreat. So we did not come here to retreat. So we're going to put this unit in the out of action box, and that still leaves us those units. So right now, we are looking at an attack factor of 6. Then we've got, let's see. So I think we were, yeah, I must have been doing something. Okay, I see what I did wrong. So the lead unit is 6. You get the +1 bonus when you have 3 units of the same division together. So now he's a 6. And with the 3, and they're all color coded, that's 7. We're going to take, we're going to take 2 artillery and put them in here for support. So that gives us 6. Oh, no, no, I did it right. Okay. So that gives us 6, 7, 8. You get +2 for that. So 9, 10, 11, 12. Divisional integrity. So we have that for 13. And then our morale is good for 14. So the Germans start off at 14. The Russians are sitting at 4, and so they're sitting at 7. So we're going to go ahead and roll again. The Germans roll an 8, so they get a result of 22. And the Russians roll a 3, so they get a result of 10. So pretty major battle there. So we go ahead and get rid of that barrage, and that returns to the deck. We get rid of the artillery because we use that. We flip everybody to their spent side. And then we throw another control marker down here. So that was a pretty successful attack. And we are now 12 areas in control. So now we're going to come up to here. And we're going to move all of them into here. For again, 4. We're going to reveal the defense. Another fanatic. So again, fanatic gives you the combat result as a success. It's changed to a stalemate unless we overrun them. which is going to be kind of difficult to do. We do have 3 units in there. So I think I am going to use 3 support. So again, engineer support's the same as artillery for the basic game. So if we add this up, the head unit is going to be the infantry, the 3 infantry. So you get 3, 4, 5. Divisional integrity is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Morale makes it 13. So German units 13. Now we come over to the Russians who 8, 9, 10, 11. And again, we roll 4 dice. The Germans roll an 8. So they've been rolling pretty well. That's a 21. The Russians roll an 8 as well. So they are Russian 19. So unfortunately, we win the battle, but since they're fanatic, it goes to, again, it says if combat result is a success, it goes to a stalemate. So unfortunately, all the units here are flipped over. We lose all the artillery goes to the out of action box. The fanatic stays. And I'm going to put an isolated marker there because we will have to do bloody streets on the next turn. So that one hurts a little bit. So now we come up here. We're going to throw everybody. We're going to throw everybody into here. And again, you can only activate one area at a time. So during the action round, the German player selects a single area for activation. So I couldn't activate these guys and help them down here either. So we're just going to start there. We're going to reveal what the defense is. Hero. And again, the heroes, let's double check that. The hero reduced German morale by 1. Applies even if the Soviet Union was eliminated, unless we ignore if the combat result was a repulse or overrun. So unless we can overrun them, we're going to lose a morale. So uh, we've got how many areas? We got 1, 2, 3 more areas to attack, and we have only 2 support. So we know we're not going to probably overrun them. So I think we're not going to add any support here. So we're just going to lead off with the 7. We get to add 1 for 8. And we get to add 1 for morale for 9. So we're going to start off with 9. And the Russians are, this is crazy, a 9, 10, 11, 12. So we're going to roll. The Germans roll 9. So we actually we have an 18. And the Russians, this time they rolled very well. So they rolled a 10 with their 12 is 22. So now with that being the case, they're going to repulse the combat. And repulse is if the attack total is less than the defense total, the German attack has been repulsed. There's no effort or no effect on the Soviet Union. The lead attacking unit is eliminated. So that hurts. That unit goes to out of action. All the remaining units are flipped to their side spent and retreat if they had to have a failed attack, which they did. So we flip him. He's going to go back over here and they stay there. So that wasn't a good result for the Germans. Now we're going to come back at the very top. There's a couple battles here. So in here, we're just going to run these two into hill 112. We're going to reveal who they are. Another fanatic. Again, these fanatics are really tough. So our lead units, you know what? We're going to bring in both artillery or both engineers to try to help us out. So the attack unit's going to be a 6. We're going to add 1 for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and morale makes it 12. The Russians are a 9 with the 7 and the 2. We roll. The Germans roll a 9, so 12 and 9 is 21. And the Russians roll a 12, so they roll a. That's crazy. So they roll a 9, add 19, 20, 21. Yeah, so they've got a 21. So we're tied. So again, Fanatic goes to a stalemate. So we flip over our units and we use we're all out of support and they stay there and we bring in another just so we know that they're fighting bloody. And then we've got the last two up here, so they get no support, but they also have a lot of units, so we're going to go ahead and start off. I think we're going to go into the hospital with these guys. They're going to reveal hero with a 6. Oh, so our morale should have went down after that. So we're down to 18 for the morale. And the hero also again -1. We will lose another one if we don't overrun in this combat. So we do not have any more support units, so we have to go with what's on the page. So our lead unit's going to be a 4. We get 5, 6, 7 for each additional unit. We get nothing for support, so 4, 5, 6, 7. We get divisional uh, integrity for 8, and then morale is adds 1 for 9, so we're at a 9. And the Russians are at a 7. So we roll 2 dice. The Germans roll a 6. So we're at 15. So Germans get a 15 result. And the Russians get a 4 result. And they're at 11. So we win, but then overrun. So we lose 1 morale. So I'm going to move that down here. We did win the spot. So they return to the deck. Everybody gets spent here. And then we get to add a control marker. So with that being said, we now have 13 areas. Now we're going to do this area up here. Trying to figure out which way they want to go. We're going to go ahead and move everybody from here up into here for 4 movement. We do not have any support, so we're going to reveal they're another hero. We're going to lose another morale unless we can overrun. So my lead unit's going to be a 5. We've got 6, 7, 8. Then we have divisional integrity for 9 and morale is 10. So we got the German 10 versus the Russian, and they are a 10. So we're going to roll. The Germans roll a 7, as do the Russians. So they're both 17s. So that's a stalemate. So that even hurts worse, right? So we lose a morale. Everybody gets flipped. And they stay. So again, have another bloody streets to do. And they stay there and we lose another morale. So we're down, the morale's down to 16. So with that, the sequence of play. So I think all the combat's completed. So now we go to the end phase. If the player has not won an automatic victory, which is a joke, we haven't come close. Flip all the spent units back to their refresh side. So we do that. Reduce German morale by 1. So now it's down to 15. Advance the turn marker on the next base to the turn 2. Any support markers still present and available remain there and continue to be available. If the player has not won an automatic victory, then we go over to the next side. So we come back to the sequence of play. So the first thing of the sequence of play is the dawn phase. So we do have reinforcements. The player receives 2 reinforcements during the game. On turn 2, the 389th Division and the 245th Assault Gun unit may be placed in Area 1 or 2, which is down here where we were at. So we're going to take all those units and we're going to place them in Area 1. So we're just going to drag these guys over here and we're going to spread them out just so we can see what's all happening over here. Okay. So reinforcement stage, there is no withdrawal. Now we go to the random event phase. And so I'm going to go ahead and pull up that random event chart. And the random event chart is right here. And we are going to roll on the random event chart. You roll 3 dice. So 3d6. Our total is 13. So logistical pause. So roll 1d6. Select the number of areas containing German units and flip all units to spent. Ugh. That is brutal. So, of course, in the first turn of the game, we couldn't do logistical pause. But unfortunately, now we can. So, man, that's a bummer. So we go to logistical pause. So with that being said, we roll 1d6. And that total is, of course, 6. So we have to, 6 areas have spent units. So we're going to do this area up here and flip them. That's 1. We're going to go to this area. That's 2. This area, that's going to be 3. We'll do this area for 4. Boy, this is debilitating. We'll do this area for 5. And then this area for 6 down here. So ouch, that really hurts. That starts us off way behind the gun there. So now we roll for supply. So we currently stand at 6 supply. So we roll 4d6. Rolled 15. So we're at 21 supply. So that really helps. So we're at 21. So that is a huge help. So, and now we consult the supply chart. So that chart's right up here. So the first thing we do is we come down here to the air, to all these markers. So we do get 1 air support automatically each turn. So we're going to get that. I'm going to move these engineers over here because some of these units we can actually buy back. So we're going to just do some arranging here. Sorry, folks, we got to do a little housekeeping. All right, so we do a little housekeeping. So now, let's see. So that's free. So now what we're going to do, air support costs 3. So we're going to buy 1 more air support. So now that's going to take it from 21 down to 18. Then we're going to buy, so to refit our infantry, We have three, so it's going to cost us 6 points to get all the armor back on the board. So we're going to do that. So that's going to go to an area that's marked there, and then we can move these in any yellow area. So let's see. Did I put them all in that same area? No. Oh, there we go. So we're going to put these guys. They came from area 6, so we can put them down in area 6. So they're going to go there. And this other one's going to go back up to, he came from area 48. So he's got to go up there. So we subtract 6 more points, so we're down to 12. Okay, and German control should be at 13, even though it's kept there. So now we have 12 points left. So we're going to buy. So we're going to buy 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's going to leave us 4. So we're going to be at 4 supply left. And with that, we're going to buy a morale boost for 1. So that's going to take us down to 1, and we add morale. You can't afford to go below the 10. It just really cripples you when you do that. So now we come back to the events phase, and now we go back to combat. So first thing in combat now that we've got to do is we've got to do bloody streets. So the bloody streets chart is right here. So you roll for each area that you go into, and that way we can see what is happening from bloody streets. So we are going to put this over here, get rid of that, and then we're going to go into bloody streets. So combat phase, at the start of each combat phase, the player rolls 1d for each contested area. For each contested light and heavy urban areas. The player rolls 1d6 for each contested light urban and heavy urban area. +1 die roll modifier if the Soviet Union is a guard in the area with a +4 TEM. Treat results as a 6 with. Okay, so come up here. So now this area, so maybe we don't do bloody streets here because this is a hill. So I'm going to take that marker and delete it. So we don't do that one. We come down here. This we do roll for bloody streets. So we're going to roll 1 die. And that die is a 3. A 1 through a 4 is no effect. So then we get rid of that marker. Now we do this one. It's in the hills, so we don't have bloody streets there. So I do that. And we do have this one, and we roll here with 1 die. It's a 2, so no effect. And that's it. So we've done bloody streets, so not as bad as it could have been, but since we're in logistical pause, that's probably the best thing that could happen to us out of the entire thing. So now we go to now we go to combat rounds. So we're going to start moving again. Um, so this guy up here's got him in 48's got to move in a 6. So he can go 1 into there because it's adjacent, it costs 2. And then it costs 4 more to go there. So he's going to do that. So we're going to flip over the reveal marker, and it's a barrage, so this isn't good. So the barrage is the German player must either place one of the attacking units in the out of action box or flip all the units and retreat. So we're going to flip and retreat back to there, and that was not a good way to start. We are going to come over here. And we're still in combat. Oh, they can't because they're spent. Boy, logistical pause has really slowed things down. So let's come down here where we do have some attack factors. So we're going to have to try to do some damage here. So we're going to, again, we're looking at 5, 6, 7, 8. We're going to add air power. And we're going to add a couple artillery. See if we can't just, you know what, we're going to do one more artillery as we really want to overrun that area if we can. All right, so now we're looking at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and add morale for 15. Okay. The air support is very tough. So basically for air support, you roll 1d6 and you subtract that from the defensive value here. So we're going to roll that air support, which is a 6. So now he is now a 1. So the Russian total is now 7 minus 6 is 1 plus 3, so is a 4. So air support did us good there. So we're going to roll 2 dice. Uh, Russians are at 20. So 15, we add. So we go to 25. So the Germans go to 25. The Russians are at a 4. They rolled an 8. So they're at 12. So huge overrun there. So with heroes, again, part of the hero thing is let's double check our chart here, make sure we're doing this right. Heroes would be reduce German morale after combat unless we overrun, so we don't have to do that. So we overrun, they're deleted. So they go back to the deck. We take our air support and our armor, and it goes back to out of action. We place a marker in the hex that gives us control, and we flip everybody over, and they're spent. But we've gained another area. So now we go down here. And again, we have to be careful because we can't just go everywhere. So these people, yeah, we're just going to go ahead and move all of these units up to Hill 126, and we're going to flip them. And we're going to come down here, and we are going to attack this hill. So they're a 9. We're going to go ahead and add air support again. And we've got 2 units. We're going to add 2 artillery as well. So we are looking at a lead unit of 6. We add 1 for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Morale makes it 12. The Russians start at 7, 8, 9, but we have air support, so we're going to roll 1d6. That's a 4. So now instead of a 7, he's a 3, so their total is 5. So we roll, and the Germans rolled a 10, so the Germans are at 22, and the Russians rolled a 4, so they're at a 9. So that's a good thing. They get eliminated. All these support units go back to the out of action box. We overran, so we do not lose a morale. And now we have another marker here. So that was pretty successful. We flip them over and we go to spent. Okay, now we're down here And they are just going to, they're just going to move up to here, into here, and then they're spent. Now we're going to do this attack here. So we are going to look at, you know what? Do we want to move? Well, first thing we're going to do is we're just going to move him into here and he's going to be flipped. And now we're back up here. So we're going to, we have 3 units. So I'm going to use all 3 artillery. So we start off, our lead unit is a 3. And you only use the attack fanatic thing the first time. You don't, it doesn't each time. Well, I mean, so it's fanatic, still got to beat them. I think that's right. I need to check that and make sure that is that every time when they're revealed, or do you just okay, no, the defense strategy is applied only once during the action round the Soviet Union is first revealed. Okay. So Fanatic's been only used once, so now it's only got a defense factor of 8. So we're looking at 3, 4, 5. We've got divisional integrity for 6, artillery for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, morale for 13. And the Russians are 8, 9, 10, 11. So we roll. The Germans roll a 9, so they're at 22. The Russians roll a 7, and they're at 18. So we win. So that's return to deck. We get rid of all that artillery, goes back to the out auction box. We flip all of our guys to spent. And we put another marker out as that's now our area as well. So we flip that over. As you know, these areas are already ours, so I don't know why I'll put those down here just so we don't get confused. Otherwise, I'm easily confused sometimes, so just do that. And we know that. So I think that's all the areas that we control. So let's count up the areas we control. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. So we control 15. Oh, I know. We start off at 9 because they automatically add that, but I'm not going to do that. So again, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay. I guess I'm sorry, folks, about all this. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Okay. So we're at 16. So now all that is done. We're at the end of the turn. So there are no bloody streets. So we go back over to our turn chart. And we take sequence of play. So we go over, so we move. So end of the day, automatic victory, we don't have it. We move all the German units back to their regular side. Support markers are put back over here. And then we do support markers. And that's it. We move the turn chart. So we go to turn 3 and we start all over again. So no reinforcements. We go to the random event. So we'll bring this back over here. We'll roll 3d6 on the random event. We rolled an 11. Commissars, so increase Soviet defense values by +1 this turn. So that doesn't help. So we increase by +1. So we've got to remember to do that. In the Stuka Joe has made some really nice cards for the board game that you can put on the board, and it shows that up for you. I may have to put some in here for that. With that being said, now we're going to go to, we did the random event phase. Now we're going to supply. And again, we are at 1 supply, so we roll 4 dice. We've got 14, so we go to 15 supply. And now we can rebuy everything again. So again, you get 1 air marker automatically. We are going to purchase another 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We got 8 more points, so we're at 15, so we go down to 7. And then I'm going to buy 1 more air support, so that'll take us down to 4. And then we're going to buy another air support and take us down to 1. We really need to make some hay this turn, so we're going to go ahead and really try to push forward. So now we're going to come back up here. We're back to the, there's no bloody streets, so now we come back to activating German sites. So we are going to actually start off up here in, I think that's 43. So they're defended by a fanatic. We are going to go ahead and put some air support up there. And that would give us 6, 7, 8, and then whatever they're subtracting. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and just do that. So we're looking at a lead unit of 6, 7, and then 8 for, oh, we forgot to subtract 1 for the morale. So we're back to 15. Excuse me. So we're 6, 7, 8. So we start off German 8 versus Russia. So we have air support. So we're going to roll 1 die 6 for a whopping 6. That's awesome. So he goes from a 9 to a 3 and then add a 5. So the Russians start off at 5. Just what the doctor ordered. We're going to go ahead and do our combat. The Germans rolled a 10. So the Germans are at 18. The Russians roll a 7. And so they're at 12. So we win there. We go ahead and put a marker there. We're adding 1 more to our control for 17. Air support goes back to the box. We flip these people and they did their job. So that's a good start to the turn. This unit in 44 is going to move right over here. They're going to reveal the elevated, a barrage. So that's not good. So we're a barrage. You can either lose the lead unit, or you can flip them to spent and retreat. So we're going to do that. We're going to come over to here now. I think we're going to jump both units into Orlovka. We're going to reveal what the ambush 8. So for ambush, we are going to ambush, eliminate the lead attacking unit after combat, ignore if we overrun. So we're going to go ahead and you've got to win by more than that factor, or we're going to lose the unit. I don't know if it's worth. So we're going to take 2 artillery and we're going to put them up there. I know that scrolling effect's got to be annoying. I don't want to do air support there. So we're going to do that. So the lead unit is a 5. We add 1 for 6 for another unit, 7 for morale, 8, 9, 10, 11. So the Germans are 11. The Russians are an 11. And we all roll dice. Uh, the Germans roll a 6, so we're a 17. Unfortunately, the Russians rolled a 7, so they're an 18. So, with that being said, we actually were repulsed. The lead unit is moved out of action, so that takes care of that ambush. And all the remaining units are flipped to their spent side. Reduce if it wasn't of, and we lose a. So they don't have to retreat because they were already. No, they weren't in here. They weren't in here. So this unit has to retreat and he gets spent. They lose the artillery, or they are that goes back to the out of action box. We lose a morale since we lost the battle, and that stays up there. So not so good. All right, so now we come back over to here. We're going to roll everybody up into here. We're revealed. Ambush of 5. So we might overrun there. So I'm going to play 2 artillery up there. We do have a chance to overrun, I think, up there. Which is, where did we move that to? Oh, there we go. Up to there. So our lead unit is going to be this armor unit of 5. We add 6, 7, 8 for each unit. So 8, add 1 more for divisional for 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Morale makes it a 14. Let's make sure we did that right. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Add 1 for 14. The Russians stand at 8. Oh, and they get +1 because of the commissar, so they're at a 9. Got to remember to do that. Wouldn't have made a difference in the other attacks. So we roll 4. The Germans roll a 5, so the Germans are at 19. The Russians roll a 6, so they're at 15. So we do not overrun. So with the ambush, the lead unit is sent out of action. We do flip everybody here. We send these back to the out of action box. We delete him. We take over the area for 1 more. So we come down here and add 1 more area for 18. And then I guess that's it for that. We got that area. So now we come down to here to area 1. We are going to move into the silicone factory. We're going to reveal there are guards. So guards are the Soviet side rolls 3 dice instead of two, dropping the last one. If the area is adjacent to the Volga, they roll four. Wow. So they get to roll 3 dice. So we're going to come up here. So we're going to add, let's see, what do we have over here for support? We're going to add 1 artillery support. So we're going to start off with 4, 5, 6, 7. Divisional integrity makes 8. Morale makes 9. And artillery makes 11. Russians have 8 plus 1, so they are at a 9 for their commissar. So we roll 4 dice. The Germans roll a 7, so we're at 18. The Russians roll a 3, so they're at 12. So we actually overran, but oh, they get to roll another dice. So we're going to roll one more dice. So they actually roll a 5. So 9, they're at a 14. We wound up as an 18. So we won by 4, so it still doesn't matter. All right, so they're eliminated. That goes back to the action deck. We flip everybody over here, and we draw another marker, and we've added that. Come down here. We are at 19 areas controlled. Let's see. We come down here. The group here in the hospital, they're going to roll into the airfield. We're going to reveal ambush 7. So the attacking unit's going to be eliminated after the attack. So they're a defense of 9. So we're going to add 1 artillery. That's going to give us 4, 5, 6, 7 for each unit, 8 for divisional integrity, 10 for artillery, 11 with the, yeah, you know what? We're going to add 1 more artillery. They get commissars too. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Morale makes 13. The Russians get 7 plus 2 is 9 plus 1 for commissar is 10. So we're going to roll our attack first because they get, no, we're going to roll both. They don't get extra dice. The Germans rolled a whopping 3. So we go from 13 to 16. The Russians roll a 10 and they add to theirs, so 20. So not good. Lead unit gets eliminated. These guys get flipped to spent. They have to retreat because of the mandatory assault. They get moved out of action and we lose a morale down to 13. Well, that's not what we wanted. So we come down to hill here. I think we're going to, so only when they're first revealed. So I think these guys are all going to go roll into the airfield. And they are going to use 1 artillery support. So we are looking at the lead units of 7, 8, 9. Division integrity is 10. 11, 12. Morale makes 13. The Russians have 7, 8, 9. Add 1 for commissar is 10. We roll 4. The Germans roll a 4, so the Germans are at 17. The Russians roll a 5, and they're at 15. So the ambush goes away. Artillery goes back. We're flipped over, but we do take control of that area. It was hard fought. Come down here and take another control. So we are now at 20. Okay. Then we're going to, let's see, we've got that done. Now we're going to come down here. So movement, let's look at the chart again, make sure we're moving the right way. I think it's on one of these. Maybe not. Let's go back to the rules here. There it is. So movement, enter a vacant area next. Okay, so this guy is going to go 1, 2, and he's going to go 3 to there and get spent. He's going to catch back up with his boys. Now we're going to come down here, and they are going to all roll into the gully. We are going to use some air support for that gully. So the lead unit is a 3. We add 4, 5. Division integrity is 6. Morale is 7. So we're 7. They are a 9, but we have air support, so we're going to see what that gets knocked down to. So they're actually now a 4. We rolled a 5, so they're down to a 4. Add the 3 for 7. Add 1 more for 8. Because of Commissar, so we are down in this one. We roll 4 die. We're going to lose this one too. So we lost that. We get 4. So for 11, they get 7 for 15. So we lose the air support. Uh, these guys all get flipped. They all go back to whence they came. And they stay there, and we lost the morale. And then last but not least, we're down here at the bottom. They are all going to roll into the sawmill. We will use our last air support. We're going to reveal barrage, of course. So we lose barrage. We lose 1 unit automatically. Barrage. The German player must either place one of the attacking units in the out of action box or retreat. So we're going to put this infantry in the out of action box. So we are looking at 6, 7, 8. Divisional integrity is 9. Morale is 10. The barrage, he's a 9, but we've got air support, so we're going to roll air support. Rolls a 6, so he's now a 3. So 3 for the defense, 3 for the TEM for 6, 1 for Commissar, so 7. So it's 10 to 7. The Germans roll, wow, an 11 for 21. The Russians roll a 6 added on to their 7 is 13, so they get steamrolled pretty good. Oh, so no, we need to look at that. So Russians 7, they add, okay, let's make sure we're doing this right. German 10, they rolled a 6 for 17, right? Or no? Germans a 10. Okay, that was the defense total. So we rolled 11, so we're at 21, right? So GE 21. The Russians were, so they were at 7, and then they rolled a 6. So they're at 13. So we won by not enough. Um, so we still won, but we didn't. Oh, so we didn't overrun. So we still defeat them. Air support goes back. We flip our units. We add a marker. We go to 21 now. And that is the end of the turn. So we go back to the end phase. No automatic victory, of course. Flip all spent units to their side. Reduce the German morale by 1. And I think that is it. Air support, everything goes back. We move the marker to turn 4. So I think this will be the last turn that we do on this part of the playthrough. So we go back to the beginning. There's no reinforcements, no withdrawals. So now we do the random phase again. So we roll 3 dice 6. And we rolled an 11. Commissar again. So the commissars are strong and heavy. So we do that. Then we roll for a supply. Our supply is 14 added on to 1. So we're at 15 for supply. So we did that. Now let's go ahead and we're going to pull out the units that were eliminated. And we're going to pull out some air support. And then the rest are there. So we are going to add. We're going to bring back an armor unit. So we're going to take 2 off and we'll bring this guy back to 48. Now I'm pretty sure that let me double check the reinforcements. I want to make sure that we're putting them in the correct spot. So reinforcements, armor. Let's see, movement, stacking, combat. Okay, where do they reinforce? I know there's a play. I'm just missing it here, I think. So let's see. I'm going to scroll one more time, see if we can figure that out. Reinforcements must be placed in one area. So, but these aren't really reinforcements. These are supply. So roll 1 dice. The supply points may be expended. Costs are listed. Return an infantry unit. It says a unit in the out of action box returns to play must be placed in a German controlled area containing at least one other German unit or an opening hex. Okay, that answers my question. All right, so we don't have to put him in 48, so he can go. You know what? He will go down here though, just to meet up with those guys. So that's 2 that we spent. Then we're going to put back. So these guys were in area 2. But again, we don't have to put them there. So we're going to put them. They are yellow. So we're going to put them back here. And that's 2 more. And then we're going to buy, we get automatically get 1 air support. We're going to buy 8 artillery. So that's going to take us, we're at 11. So that's going to take us down to 4. And then we're going to go ahead and buy this infantry unit. So that's going to take us down to 3. And we're going to put them back here. Put them right back there in friendly units. And then that leaves us 3 more. We're going to go to 0 and boost our morale by 1 to 12. All right, so we'll see how that does for us. So we come back up here. We're going to activate the guys in 43. They are going to go into here. We're going to reveal Fanatic 6, So we're going to take that. We're going to add air support. And we're going to add two artillery, because really you don't want that. We'd really like to advance through there. We don't have to get stuck there for 2 turns, hopefully. So now we're looking at lead unit is 6, add 1 for 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Morale is 12. So GE 12. The Russians are a 6, but we have air support, so we're going to roll that for another 6. Wow, so that's 0. So that puts them down to 0. They get 3 TEM plus 1 for the commissar, so they are a 4. So 12 to 4. So we have a good chance of overrunning. So we're going to roll. The Germans rolled a 10, so the Germans go to 22. The Russians rolled well too, 11, so they go to 21. Or no, I'm sorry, 11. They go to 15. We, yep, we overran them, so that's good. So Fanatic, if you overrun them, if the combat result is a success, it is changed to a stalemate. It is, okay, so overrun, it takes that off. So we defeat them, put our air support back in the box. We put our artillery back in the box. These guys become spent. They did their job very well. And we add a marker. So we come down here and add another. So we go to 22. So that worked out good. Now we're going to activate this guy. So he's going to go 1, and he's just going to flip back into here. So he's with his guys. This group here, up here in 46 from, they're going to jump over into hill 135. And you don't subtract, so it's already been revealed, so it's just a regular attack. So we are going to add one artillery support. I'm going to put that up there. So we are looking at lead unit is a 5. We're adding 1 for 6, 7, 8. Morale is 9. So German 9. Russians are 6, 7, 8. They're a 9 because of the commissar. We roll. The Germans roll a 9, so we're at 18. The Russians roll a 7, so they're at 16. So we defeat them. Take that back to the box. We flip these guys over. We draw another control marker. And we add one down here. So we're at 23 sites now. Okay. These guys are going to, they're going to jump up here, try to clear this area. We are going to use 2 artillery support. So they are going to go, we're going to, lead unit is going to be 3, 4, 5. Divisional integrity is 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Morale is 11. The Russians are 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm pushing my luck here with the same die roll. We roll. We lucked out again. The Germans rolled an 11. So that gives us 20. So 11, that's a 22. Russians start off with 11. They roll a 4, so they're at 15. So again, we defeat that. Support goes back to the box. These people get flipped. Control goes to there. And we add the 24th area under control. All right, so they're flipped. So now we're going to activate this area. We're going to go ahead and bring these guys down into Hill 98. We're going to reveal the defense. Ambush for 6. So that means one of the lead units, unless no matter what, is going to get defeated or eliminated. We're at 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. They're at 8. So we're going to add 1 artillery. So we have 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 for divisional, 9, 10, 11 for morale. So Germans are at 11. The Russians are at 6, 7, 8 plus Commissar is 9. 11 to 9. We roll. Wow, that's odd. One's across the board. So GE, the Germans get a 13 total, and the Russians are 11 total. So we lose our lead unit. We defeat them. Put the artillery back. We flip everybody else. And we gain another marker. And we're at 25 areas controlled. All right. Now let's see what we want to do with these guys. I think we want to split them up actually. Well, no, we're going to need division. Well, but we can get back into division. No, let's just. All right, I'm talking to myself, folks. So we're going to group all of these guys here. And they are going to move on into. They're going to go right here. We're going to reveal another ambush. So we're going to lose a lead unit again. They're at 8. We're going to add another artillery. So we start off, we're lead units of 7, 8, 9, 10. Divisional integrities 11, 12, 13. Morale makes it 14. Russians are 8, and 4 is 12. Add 1, they are 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 because of the commissar. And we roll. 14 and 11 is 25 for the Germans. 13 and 9. Yeah, 13 is 22. Let's go back there, 22. It's really nice with Vassal being able to, up above here, being able to keep the totals. So we win. So we lose our lead unit. They get defeated. Put that back in the box. Everybody else gets flipped. We gain another marker. And we go to 26 areas held. All right. Now we're over here at the hospital again. They are not going to be able to go into anywhere because it costs to adjacent. So they're just all going to move into here and flip. Then we're going to go down here. So all these guys here are going to move up to the gully. We're going to use our last artillery support. That may not be the smartest thing. Nope, we're going to put that back. Nope, we're not. We're going to go for it. Okay, so lead units of 3, 4, 5. Divisional integrity is 6, 7, 8. Morale is 9. Russians are a 9, 10, 11, 12. Yeah, that probably wasn't the brightest thing we've ever done. We roll dice. So the Germans roll an 8 and a 9, so we get 17. The Russians have a 12. They only rolled a 5, so they're at 17. So the good news is just a stalemate. They go to out of action. Everybody else flips. And we will have a bloody streets in here next time. All right. And then the last unit is going, boy, yeah, we're going to move into the grain elevator. We reveal, oh, Fanatic 10. That's not going to be good. Lead unit is a 6. 7, 8, 9. Divisional integrity is 10. Morale makes it 11. Russians are 10 plus 4, 14 plus Commissar is 15. We are in trouble. Germans are 11. They roll a 7, so we're at 18. The Russians roll a 10. They're at 25. So we get repulsed. And with that repulse, the lead attacking unit is eliminated. And they flip. And they don't have to retreat. But we lose 1 morale down to 11. And there's going to be another. Okay, so, well, folks, we didn't end up very good there. So we end the turn. Automatic victory, no. We are going to, let's make sure we got all that squared away. So no automatic victory. German morale goes down by 1, so we're at 10. So I really have to buy that up. Um, Air support and everything is back to where it goes. We're going to separate the units so we can buy them back next turn. You can see this is a pretty brutal game. It gets very ugly quickly, but a lot of fun. So we are going to, so we do that. We flip all our units back up to the real side. We go to turn 5. And we are going to wait and do all the other rolls at the beginning. So we're going to wait and do all the rolls at the beginning. So we're at turn 5. You know what? Let's go ahead and do all the no, because we won't remember. So we're at turn 5 and we have to do that. So folks, thanks for watching. Been out here for about an hour and a half. So for those of you that watch this, I appreciate it. Give me some feedback. Let me know. Make sure you use the like button, subscribe, do all that YouTube stuff. All right, everybody. Till next time. Thanks.